The wake-up call. Facing the mirror at 50, the mirror moment, when the truth blinks back. You look in the mirror. The face is familiar, but something feels off. Not just the silver streaks in your hair or the slight puff under your eyes. Not even the wrinkles forming around your mouth. Those are expected. It's something deeper, a stillness in the eyes, a quiet question echoing from somewhere below the surface. Is this really me now? You splash water on your face, trying to feel more awake, but the fog isn't in your eyes, it's behind them. You haven't felt like you in a while. Your mind is slower to ignite in the morning. The spark that once drove you, professionally, socially, even sexually, has dimmed. You're still functioning, still fine, but the fire inside has cooled. And here's the unsettling part. Nobody talks about this moment. It's not a midlife crisis. That's too dramatic, too cliché. No red sports car, no sudden divorce. It's quieter, subtler, and far more dangerous. It's the silent fade, the erosion of edge, clarity, urgency. This is the moment where many drift into resignation. But this can also be the moment you wake up. The invisible decline. You don't go from vibrant to sluggish overnight. Aging doesn't crash into you, it creeps. It's the slow fade of energy after lunch, the slight ache in your joints after a walk that used to feel effortless, the way you now need reading glasses, or how you forget names more than you'd like to admit. You chalk it up to stress, to being busy, to getting older. But what if that explanation is a trap? The truth is, after 50, your body does change, but not in ways that are necessarily irreversible. Muscle mass begins to decline, sarcopenia, hormones begin to shift, sleep gets lighter, and metabolism becomes more stubborn. And it's not just physical. Emotional resilience dips, motivation ebbs, even optimism can wane. Yet few realize these aren't just consequences. They're signals. Signals that the old autopilot won't get you where you're going next. Why you never saw it coming. Nobody warned you about this. Not in school, not in the workplace, not even the wellness blogs you skim between meetings. You were trained to optimize your 20s, hustle in your 30s, maintain in your 40s, and then, silence. You reach 50 and realize there is no cultural blueprint for thriving here. Only stereotypes, grandparenting, golfing, retiring, and the occasional fit after 50 headline that feels more like an exception than a rule. There's a reason you feel a little lost. You were never shown the map, but you can draw a new one. The cultural trap. There's a subtle message society whispers to people over 50. You've had your peak. It's time to settle. You're told to age gracefully, to be realistic, to accept the changes as they come. And so we do. We lower expectations. We adjust dreams downward. We shrink. But what if that's not aging? It's conditioning. What if this idea of decline is not biology, but cultural hypnosis? Because here's the truth. People in their 50s are starting businesses at a higher rate than any other age group. Cognitive performance in areas like strategy, emotional regulation, and long-term decision-making peaks in midlife. Many of history's greatest contributions in science, art, politics were made after 50. You're not in decline, you're in transition, and transitions require new tools. The science of the shift. Let's look under the hood. Hormones. Testosterone, estrogen, growth hormone, they all decline. This affects mood, libido, muscle tone, and energy. Metabolism. Your resting metabolic rate decreases. You burn fewer calories at rest, which can lead to fat gain even if you eat the same. Muscle and bone. You lose lean muscle mass each year unless you actively build it. Bone density decreases, increasing fracture risk. Brain. Dopamine and serotonin levels drop. This affects motivation, focus, and pleasure. Sleep. Melatonin production reduces. Sleep becomes lighter, more fragmented, less restorative. But here's the empowering part. Nearly all of this is modifiable. Strength training boosts testosterone. Diet impacts brain chemistry. Sleep hygiene can reset your circadian rhythms. Your biology is not a sentence, it's a system, and systems can be reprogrammed. A story of awakening. Meet David. He was 54, successful, and quietly miserable. He had gained 30 pounds, slept poorly, and drank more than he admitted. Work felt dull, marriage distant. He wasn't in crisis, but he felt like a shadow of himself. Then his doctor mentioned the word pre-diabetic. Something clicked. David didn't hire a life coach. He didn't quit his job. He just made one change. He committed to walking 3 miles every morning. That walk led to better sleep. Better sleep led to better choices. He swapped fast food for real food, started strength training, cut alcohol, reconnected with his wife. A year later, he wasn't just healthier, he was lit up from within. His numbers improved, but more importantly, so did his sense of self. David didn't turn back time. He awakened to it. The Silver Hour. This is the premise of everything to come. The silver hour is not the twilight, it is the dawn. You are entering a phase of life where you care less about others' opinions. You have more freedom to shape your days. You have the wisdom to know what matters and what doesn't. This is not a time to fade. This is your time to focus. The silver hour is when you stop chasing choice. Now you stand at a fork in the road. Path 1. Numb it, coast, shrink into comfort and watch your world get smaller. Path 2. Wake up, take inventory, make small but seismic shifts that change your trajectory. Neither path is easy, but only one leads to expansion. You don't need to overhaul your life this week. You just need to disrupt your autopilot. Ask yourself, when did I last feel truly alive? What have I stopped doing because I believed it was too late? What if that belief was false? This is not the end of your story. This is the chapter where everything changes. What's next? Understanding the blueprint. To change your path, you must understand the terrain. In part 2, we'll dive deep into the biological and neurological blueprint of aging and how to work with it, not against it. Because once you see the map, you can choose a better route. Your awakening has begun. Let's keep going. The Aging Blueprint. Reclaiming your biology after 50. What if everything you've been told about aging was incomplete? Or worse, misleading? What if, instead of an inevitable decline, your body was offering you a new set of instructions, waiting for you to read them? You're not malfunctioning. You're not broken. You're running on an old operating system. One designed for survival, not longevity. The good news? You can rewrite it. This chapter is your decoder ring. The biology, neurology, and hidden science behind why your body changes after 50, and exactly what to do about it. We won't sugarcoat the facts, but we'll reveal something even more powerful. Almost everything that breaks down can also be rebuilt. Your biological timeline. What actually happens after 50? Aging isn't random. It follows a distinct, measurable pattern that affects every major system of your body. Let's walk through the core domains. A. Muscular and skeletal system. Sarcopenia. Loss of muscle mass begins around age 30, but accelerates after 50, up to 1% per year if left unchallenged. Bone density. Postmenopausal women can lose up to 20% bone density in the first 5 to 7 years after menopause. Men, too, face osteopenia risk. Posture and stability. Decreased core strength and joint integrity leads to increased fall risk and stiffness. Reversal tools. Strength training 3 times a week, collagen peptides, vitamin D, 3K2, resistance bands, Tai Chi for balance. B. Endocrine system. Hormones. Men. Gradual testosterone decline, approximately 1% per year, affecting libido, muscle, mood, and fat distribution. Women. Estrogen and progesterone plummet during perimenopause and menopause. leading to hot flashes, sleep disruption, emotional instability, and fat gain. C. Metabolism and fat distribution. Resting metabolic rate decreases 2% to 5% per decade. You burn fewer calories even if you eat the same. Visceral fat. Fat begins shifting toward the belly, increasing risk of insulin resistance and cardiovascular disease. Reversal tools. High-protein diet, intermittent fasting, zone 2 cardio, resistance training, NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. D. Neurology and brain chemistry. Neuroplasticity, still present but needs stimulation. Unused neural pathways prune away. Neurotransmitters, dopamine, motivation, and serotonin, happiness, decline. GABA, calming, often drops, affecting sleep. Cognitive function, processing speed may slow, but strategic thinking and pattern recognition can improve. Reversal tools, learning new skills, language study, brain games, omega-3s, magnesium threonate, cold exposure, social interaction. E. Sleep architecture. Melatonin production drops. Less deep sleep, more light sleep. Fragmentation, more nighttime wake-ups, harder time returning to sleep. Reversal tools, no screens 2 hours before bed, magnesium glycinate, sleep masks, blackout curtains, breathing exercises, CBTI. Systems thinking, your body as an ecosystem. The problem with modern medicine? It often treats symptoms in isolation, but your biology is integrated. Poor sleep worsens metabolism. Belly fat alters hormone balance. Chronic stress inflames the brain and gut. Aging well isn't about addressing one issue. It's about optimizing the entire system. We'll break this down in later chapters. But for now, start thinking holistically. You don't have just a thyroid problem or just low T. You have an interconnected system sending you messages. Learn to listen. The great mistake, confusing normal with inevitable. We often say things like, "Of course I'm tired, I'm over 50. Weight gain is just part of aging. Everyone my age forgets things." But normal isn't the same as unavoidable. Just because something is common doesn't mean it's destiny. The tragedy? Most people surrender to decline because they think it's out of their hands, not you. This chapter is your reminder that you have more control than you think. That your biology isn't betraying you, it's adapting. You can adapt back. Recovery as a skill. In your 20s, you could abuse your body and bounce back in days. In your 50s, recovery is a practice. Inflammation hangs around longer. Workouts require strategic pacing. Mental fatigue builds quicker. But when you train your recovery, you unlock new power. Sleep becomes restorative. Muscles regenerate. Hormones stabilize. Energy becomes consistent, not spiking and crashing. Recovery is no longer a luxury. It's your primary currency, your personalized aging blueprint. You don't need a generic anti-aging plan. You need a blueprint that's based on your biomarkers, adjusted for your genetics, reflective of your goals, preferences, and limitations. Start with these labs. Consult a doctor who specializes in longevity. Complete hormone panel, T, E2, progesterone, DHEA, cortisol, HSCRP, inflammation, fasting insulin, HbA1c, metabolic health. Lipid panel, particle size plus ApoB, homocysteine, B12, vitamin D. Combine this data with sleep tracking, Aura, Whoop, movement assessment, food journaling, cognitive tests, reaction time, memory recall. Then build protocols around the truth, not the trends. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. You need 2% improvement per day. 10-minute walks after each meal. Replacing your snack with protein. Doing breath work before bed. Swapping Netflix for a new language app. Tiny hinges swing big doors. When done daily, small shifts accumulate into radical results. The shift has already begun. Reading this means you've started to wake up. The next chapters will give you tactical protocols, Movement, Part 3, Nutrition, Part 4, Hormones, Part 5, Mindset and Brain, Part 6. But for now, remember this. You are not breaking down. You're being invited to rebuild. Your body is talking. Your job is to stop ignoring it. This isn't just aging. This is adaptation. Let's move forward, stronger, wiser, and fully awake. You don't lose energy because you get old. You get old because you lose energy. Picture this, 2 people, both 58. One starts each day with a brisk walk, lifts weights 3 times a week, sleeps like a cat in sunlight, and plays tennis on weekends. The other skips movement, sleeps poorly, and feels tired all the time. Same age, different energy. What separates them? Not luck, not genes, it's motion. This chapter is about using movement to flip the switch. Not just to burn calories or stay in shape, but to literally reset your biology, brain chemistry, and aging trajectory. Movement is not optional after 50. It is medicine. It is mood. It is memory. It is momentum. The truth about exercise after 50. Forget the old paradigm of punishing workouts, endless cardio, or chasing six-pack abs. That's a young person's game, and often a self-destructive one. What you need now is functional strength, sustainable cardio, mobility and stability, nervous system regulation, recovery built into the rhythm. This isn't just exercise, it's energy design, the wake-up call. Facing the mirror at 50, the mirror moment when the truth blinks back. You look in the mirror, the face is familiar, but something feels off. Not just the silver streaks in your hair or the slight puff under your eyes. Not even the wrinkles forming around your mouth, those are expected. It's something deeper, a stillness in the eyes, a quiet question echoing from somewhere below the surface. Is this really me now? You splash water on your face, trying to feel more awake. But the fog isn't in your eyes, it's behind them. You haven't felt like you in a while. Your mind is slower to ignite in the morning. The spark that once drove you, professionally, socially, even sexually, has dimmed. You're still functioning, still fine, but the fire inside has cooled. And here's the unsettling part. Nobody talks about this moment. It's not a midlife crisis, that's too dramatic, too cliché. No red sports car, no sudden divorce. It's quieter, subtler, and far more dangerous. It's the silent fade, the erosion of edge, clarity, urgency. This is the moment where many drift into resignation. But this can also be the moment you wake up. The invisible decline. You don't go from vibrant to sluggish overnight. Aging doesn't crash into you, it creeps. It's the slow fade of energy after lunch, the slight ache in your joints after a walk that used to feel effortless, the way you now need reading glasses, or how you forget names more than you'd like to admit. You chalk it up to stress, to being busy, to getting older. But what if that explanation is a trap? The truth is, after 50, your body does change, but not in ways that are necessarily irreversible. Muscle mass begins to decline, sarcopenia, hormones begin to shift, sleep gets lighter, and metabolism becomes more stubborn. And it's not just physical. Emotional resilience dips, motivation ebbs, even optimism can wane. Yet few realize these aren't just consequences, they're signals. Signals that the old autopilot won't get you where you're going next. NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, the movement multiplier. Why it matters. NEAT equals all movement that isn't structured exercise, walking, chores, standing. A sedentary person may burn 800 fewer calories per day than an active person without exercising more. What to do? 8,000 to 12,000 steps a day. Stand every 30 to 45 minutes. Walk while on calls. Use a standing desk. Make your leisure active. Gardening, walking with friends, dancing. Movement as brain fuel. Exercise isn't just for your body, it's for your mind. What the science says. Strength training boosts BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, a key driver of neuroplasticity. Cardio increases hippocampal volume, memory center. Movement improves mood, reduces depression, and lowers dementia risk by 30 to 40%. Every time you move, you're the weekly blueprint. minimum effective dose. Let's simplify your week into a realistic, results-driven movement schedule that restores, not drains, your energy. Monday focus strength plus mobility workout, full body resistance training, squats, rows, presses, followed by 10 minutes of stretching. Tuesday, focus zone 2 cardio workout, 45-minute brisk walk or light cycling at conversational pace. Wednesday, focus mobility plus core workout, 20-minute movement flow, core planks, and balance drills like single leg stands. Thursday focus, strength workout, upper body push-pull routine with added mobility drills for shoulders and back. Friday focus, zone 2 plus play workout, 30-minute light cardio plus something joyful, tennis, hike, long walk with a friend. Saturday focus, HIIT plus mobility workout, 20-minute interval workout, 30-second sprint or 5 90-seconds walk, followed by stretching. Sunday focus recovery workout, gentle sauna, 20-minute walk, foam rolling, or guided yoga nidra. Note, this blueprint is a starting point, not a rule book. Customize it to match your goals, limitations, and lifestyle. The 5 mental shifts of movement over 50. Consistency or intensity. You don't need to crush it, you need to keep showing up. Form or ego. Better to lift light with precision than heavy with poor mechanics. Recovery equals progress. Gains happen when you rest, not just when you train. Movement equals mood. Even 10 minutes can change your brain chemistry. Fitness is freedom. The stronger and more mobile you are, the more life you can live. Real people, real results. Meet Lisa, 62. She hadn't exercised in 20 years. Started with walking 10 minutes a day, then added bodyweight squats, light dumbbells, and yoga. 6 months later, she'd lost 15 pounds, was off her blood pressure meds, and finally slept through the night. Or James, 59, a desk worker who hated gyms. He got a kettlebell and committed to 20 minutes a day. It turned into a full routine. His back pain vanished. He said, "I feel younger at 59 than I did at 39. Many people. Your next step. You don't need the perfect plan, you need a starting point. Begin today. 10 push-ups, on knees if needed. 10 bodyweight squats. 10-minute walk, repeat daily. Increase gradually. You don't age into stillness, you stiffen into old age. Move your body, reclaim your life. The fuel factor, nutrition to rewire energy, hormones, and longevity. If movement is the spark, then food is the flame. But after 50, your flame needs a different kind of fuel. You've heard the cliches. You are what you eat. But let's go deeper. After 50, every bite you take becomes a biological instruction. Food tells your genes what to do. It turns hormones on and off. It either inflames you or heals you. Most diets don't fail because of lack of willpower. They fail because they weren't designed. The new nutritional rules. After 50. Your metabolism has changed. Your gut has changed. Your hormones have shifted. Here's how your nutrition must evolve. A. Prioritize protein. You need more protein now, not less. Sarcopenia, age-related muscle loss, accelerates after 50. Aim for 1.2 to 1.6 grams protein per kilogram body weight daily. Sources: pasture-raised eggs, wild-caught fish, grass-fed meat, legumes, organic tofu, Greek yogurt. Bonus: distribute protein across meals to maximize muscle protein synthesis. B. Balance blood sugar. Stable energy equals stable glucose. Roller coaster blood sugar leads to fatigue, brain fog, weight gain, and inflammation. How? Break your fast with protein plus fat, not carbs. Include fiber and healthy fats with every meal. Use apple cider vinegar or lemon water pre-meals. Take a 10-minute walk after eating. C. Reduce inflammation. Inflammation accelerates aging on the inside and outside. Your anti-inflammatory toolkit: omega-3s, salmon, sardines, walnuts, flaxseed, turmeric with black pepper, extra virgin olive oil, green tea, cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, kale, cabbage. D. Mine the micronutrients. Common deficiencies after 50. Magnesium, fatigue, poor sleep, muscle cramps. Vitamin D3 plus K2, bone plus immune health. B12, energy, cognition. Zinc, immunity, testosterone. Omega-3, brain, heart. Get tested. Supplement strategically, not blindly. The gut-brain connection, healing from the inside out. Your gut is your second brain, and after 50, its health can make or break your energy. Signs your gut needs support: bloating, constipation or loose stools, skin issues, brain fog, food sensitivities. Reboot your gut. Eat fermented foods: sauerkraut, kimchi, kefir, miso. Add prebiotic fiber: garlic, onion, leeks, asparagus. Avoid ultra-processed foods and seed oils. Try a 24-hour bone broth fast monthly. Strategic fasting, less often, more intentionally. Intermittent fasting, IVE, is a powerful tool, but it must be done differently after 50. Women may need shorter fasts, 12-14 hours, due to hormone sensitivity. Men can benefit from 16 or 18-6, but must avoid undereating. Always break your fast with protein and healthy fat. Bonus: try circadian rhythm fasting. Eat during daylight hours only. The Silver Hour Power Plate. Build every meal using this visual framework. 50% colorful vegetables, raw, steamed, or sautéed. 25% high-quality protein, wild fish, pasture-raised poultry, tofu. 15% healthy fat, avocado, olive oil, nuts, seeds. What to avoid or greatly reduce. These foods accelerate aging, brain fog, and hormonal chaos. Refined sugars, especially fructose, seed oils, canola, soybean, corn, processed snacks and packaged baked goods, artificial sweeteners can impact gut and cravings. Alcohol, especially daily use. Does that mean zero? Not always. But use the 90-10 rule. Eat clean 90% of the time so your body has margin for the occasional indulgence. Supplements. Targeted, not trendy. Not everyone needs supplements, but many over 50 benefit from these, based on testing. Collagen, skin, joints, hair, magnesium glycinate, sleep, nervous system, creatine, muscle brain, vitamin D3 plus K2, immunity, bones, fish oil or krill oil, inflammation, lion's mane or bacopa, memory, focus. Start with testing. Don't waste money on guesswork. Real food, real stories. Meet Carla, 61. She swapped her cereal and juice for eggs, spinach, and avocado toast. Her energy stabilized, cravings vanished, and she dropped 10 pounds without counting calories. Or Dan, 55, who eliminated processed snacks and added green smoothies and omega-3s. His joint pain eased and his brain fog lifted for the first time in a decade. Your next step, the 7-day reset. Try this sample daily rhythm for the next 7 days. Wake. Hydrate with lemon plus salt water. Breakfast. Scrambled eggs with spinach plus mushrooms. Lunch. Grilled salmon, quinoa, arugula salad with EVOO. Snack. Chia pudding or protein smoothie. Dinner. Bone broth veggie soup plus chicken thighs plus roasted squash. Movement. 30-minute walk after dinner. Wind down. Herbal tea plus magnesium glycinate. Repeat. Tweak. Observe how your body responds. The hormone revival. Rebalancing testosterone, estrogen, and more, after 50. You're not tired, moody, foggy, or gaining weight because of aging. You're likely experiencing silent hormone decline, and the good news is, it's not permanent. You hit 50 and something feels off. You're not sleeping as well. You've lost your edge, your drive. Your waistline is expanding while your confidence shrinks. You start to ask, is this just how it is now? No, this is not the end. It's the signal. A hormonal whisper that it's time to listen, reset, and rise again. Hormones are the body's messengers. They control everything: energy, metabolism, libido, mood, memory, and muscle. After 50, they often decline. But decline is not destiny. Let's map the terrain, understand the culprits, and build your plan to rebalance and revive. Understanding your endocrine orchestra. Hormones don't work in isolation. They dance in symphony. When one is off key, the whole orchestra suffers. The key hormones to understand after 50. A. Testosterone, men and women. Vital for muscle, bone density, motivation, mood, and libido. declines 1 to 2% annually after age 30. Symptoms of low T: fatigue, depression, loss of muscle, belly fat, brain fog, low sex drive. B. Estrogen and progesterone women. Estrogen regulates bone, mood, metabolism, skin. Progesterone calms the nervous system, supports sleep. During perimenopause, menopause, levels fluctuate wildly, then drop. C. Cortisol, your stress hormone. Vital in short bursts, destructive when chronically elevated. Chronic stress equals weight gain, fatigue, inflammation, and hormonal disruption. D. Insulin. Controls blood sugar and fat storage. With age and poor diet, insulin resistance becomes common. E. Thyroid, T3, T4, TSH, your metabolic thermostat. Suboptimal thyroid function equals slow metabolism, fatigue, hair thinning, depression. Testing, not guessing. Too many suffer in silence, blaming age. Get the data. Ask your doctor for total and free testosterone, men and women. Estradiol, progesterone, women. DHEAS, precursor hormone. Cortisol, saliva or urine. HbA1c, fasting insulin, glucose. Full thyroid panel, TSH, free T3, free T4, reverse T3, antibodies. Vitamin D, B12, ferritin, magnesium. If your doctor won't run these, find one who will. Your life is too important. Natural ways to support hormone balance. A. Nutrition. First, protein at every meal equals hormonal building blocks. Cruciferous veggies equals estrogen detox support. Healthy fats, avocados, olive oil, nuts, equals raw materials for hormone synthesis. Avoid seed oils, processed sugar, alcohol. B. Strength training. Lifting weights boosts testosterone, lowers insulin resistance, and regulates cortisol. C. Sleep. Deep sleep equals hormonal reset. Aim for 7.5 to 9 hours equal to night. Prioritize magnesium, dark rooms, no screens before bed. D. Stress management. Chronic stress kills libido, raises belly fat, and disrupts everything. Daily breathing, walking, meditation, or creative time is non-negotiable. E. Sunlight and nature. 10 to 20 minutes morning light resets your circadian rhythm, equals better hormone production. F. Adaptogens. Herbs like ashwagandha, rhodiola, maca can help modulate cortisol and support libido or S-focus. Hormone replacement therapy, HRT. Facts versus fear. For many, lifestyle shifts are enough, but for others, HRT may be real stories, real revival. James, 57, felt flatlined. After testing, his testosterone was at 230 ng per deciliter. With a clean diet, strength training, better sleep, and testosterone therapy, he's now at 650 and feels like himself again. Lisa, 54, was overwhelmed by menopause, brain fog, weight gain, depression. She worked with a hormone-literate doctor, rebalanced her gut, and began gentle bioidentical estrogen plus progesterone. She now runs a coaching business and says, "I feel 20 years younger." Your hormone reset checklist. T. Test your key markers. Lift weights 3 times a week. Sleep 7.5 plus hours in a dark room. Eat protein plus cruciferous veg plus healthy fats. Walk daily. Breathe deeply. Laugh often. Consider adaptogens. Consult a hormone-literate MD if needed. This isn't about chasing youth. It's about reclaiming balance. Hormones don't fade because you're broken. They fade because you've never been taught how to keep them alive. Now you know. The Mind Renaissance, Neuroplasticity, Purpose, and Reclaiming Your Brain. After 50. What if your best ideas, deepest clarity, and most profound purpose are still ahead of you, waiting behind a fog you didn't know could lift? Forget the myth. Cognitive decline isn't inevitable after 50. What's far more common but rarely discussed is cognitive neglect. You're not losing your mind, you've just never been taught how to train it. Welcome to your mind renaissance, a decade-defying reawakening of mental strength, emotional depth, and renewed purpose. This is where brain science meets soul work. The plastic brain you can rewire at any age. Neuroplasticity, the ability of your brain to form new connections, isn't limited to youth. It thrives with use. The key is intention plus repetition. Research shows adults over 60 can grow new neurons in the hippocampus, memory center. Learning new skills changes brain structure. Meditation thickens the prefrontal cortex, decision-making, compassion, focus. Neuroplastic triggers, learning a language, instrument, or complex skill, engaging in unfamiliar activities, travel, games, writing, mindfulness, and focused attention. Novelty plus challenge equals brain growth. Brain fog is not normal, it's a signal. If you've been feeling easily distracted, forgetful or mentally sluggish, lacking creativity or motivation, emotionally flat, it's not just age. It's often inflammation, poor sleep, blood sugar swings, or stress. Causes of brain fog: sleep debt, processed foods and sugar, chronic stress, plus elevated cortisol, poor blood flow from inactivity, nutrient deficiencies, omega-3, B12, magnesium. Good news: every one of these is fixable. Mental fitness: how to train your brain like a muscle. Just like your biceps, your brain needs tension and recovery. Daily brain training practices. 10-minute meditation builds focus, emotional resilience, reduces rumination. Gratitude journaling shifts neural pathways toward optimism. Skill learning. Practice something cognitively demanding. Piano, chess, coding. Curiosity rituals. Read outside your comfort zone, ask big questions, explore ideas. Mix challenge plus consistency equals neural resilience. Movement, the brain's superpower fuel. Physical activity isn't just good for the body, it's critical for brain health. Walking increases blood flow to the brain. HIIT improves BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, a chemical that builds neurons. Strength training supports executive function, memory, and emotional regulation. Yoga and Tai Chi balance the nervous system and enhance cognitive flexibility. Bonus: movement outdoors equals even more neuro-boosting power. Purpose, your cognitive compass. People with a strong sense of purpose live longer, heal faster, and have sharper minds. Purpose protects the brain. Ways to reignite purpose after 50. Mentor someone younger. Volunteer or share your life story. Start a creative project, writing, art, podcast. Explore spiritual or philosophical questions. Revisit forgotten dreams. Don't wait to find purpose. Create it through service, connection, and curiosity. The sleep-mind connection. Sleep is where the brain heals, reorganizes, and consolidates memories. If you wake groggy, anxious, or forgetful, aim for 7.5 to 9 hours per night. Blackout curtains, cool room, 65 degrees Fahrenheit, 18 degrees Celsius. No screens, 1 hour before bed. Magnesium glycinate or lavender tea to wind down. Avoid alcohol, it disrupts REM sleep. Sleep debt equals cognitive decline. Protect this like your life depends on it, because it does. Nootropics and brain boosters. What works? Natural nootropics can amplify focus, memory, and clarity. Evidence-based support. Lion's mane, neurogenesis plus memory support. Bacopa monnieri, learning plus stress reduction. Susan, 58, replaced TV time with journaling and meditation. Her anxiety dropped and her creativity returned. She's now writing her first book. 9. Your weekly brain renaissance protocol. Daily, 30 minutes movement, 10 minutes mindfulness. Learn something new, curate input, less news, more ideas. Weekly, connect with purpose, mentor, volunteer, share. Journal big questions. Limit alcohol plus processed food. Sleep 7.5+ hours night. This is your mind, reawakened, not fading, not declining, but deepening, focusing, expanding. Because after 50 isn't the end of your cognitive prime. It's the beginning of your mental mastery. The emotional alchemy, resilience, relationships, and reinventing the self. What if your most powerful transformation isn't physical or mental, but emotional? What if your ability to heal, connect, and reinvent your identity after 50 is your real superpower? By the time you hit 50, you've faced heartbreak, disappointment, regret, and joy, pride, and love. The emotional landscape is wide, but most of us have never been taught how to work with our emotions, only how to suppress, manage, or avoid them. This chapter is your invitation to emotional mastery, not control, but transformation. To alchemize past pain into wisdom. To build resilience, to deepen relationships, to reclaim your evolving identity. Because real reinvention starts from the inside. Emotional health is not avoiding pain. After 50, the emotional wounds and patterns that once lay buried begin to surface. That's not a flaw, it's an opportunity. Emotional maturity is feeling deeply without drowning, naming emotions without shame, setting boundaries without guilt, showing vulnerability without collapse. Suppressing emotions ages the body and fogs the brain. Processing emotions frees both. The resilience formula. Resilience isn't toughness, it's flexibility. It's the capacity to adapt, recover, and grow stronger through challenge. The 4 pillars of resilience. Self-awareness. Can you name what you feel? Self-compassion. Can you offer grace instead of criticism? Emotional regulation. Can you stay grounded in the storm? Growth mindset. Can you see setbacks as feedback? Daily practice. Journal 3 emotions you felt today. Breathe through discomfort instead of distracting. Speak to yourself like someone you love. Reframe failures as experiments. Relationships. After 50, depth, not drama. At this stage, your time is precious and so is your energy. The old need for approval fades. What remains is a craving for connection that's real, raw, and reciprocal. Evaluate your relationships. Do they energize or exhaust you? Are they rooted in truth or obligation? Do they reflect who you were or who you're becoming? Strengthen your inner circle. Initiate deep conversations. Apologize and forgive yourself too. Grief, change, and emotional cycles. After 50, you may grieve the passing of time, lost opportunities, children leaving home, parents aging or gone, health shifts. Grief isn't a sign of weakness. It's the evidence that you've loved, lived, and are still awake. Let yourself feel sadness without rushing to fix, anger without shame, longing without judgment. And then remember, grief is a portal, not a prison. Reinventing your identity. Who are you without the titles, roles, or achievements? At 50 plus, you're not starting over. You're distilling, letting go of who you thought you had to be so you can become who you really are. Identity questions to explore. What do I truly value now? What dreams still whisper in my heart? Who am I when I'm alone and honest? This is the rebirth, not into someone new, but someone true. Emotional fitness tools. Daily emotional hygiene. 10 minutes of silence or reflection. Write one truth you're avoiding. Move your body with intention. Speak one kind sentence to yourself. Replace comparison with curiosity. Monthly reset rituals. Reflect on the biggest emotional lesson of the month. Release resentment. Write plus burn letters if needed. Practice deep listening with a loved one. Real people, real transformation. Carlos, 59, began therapy for the first time after retiring. He uncovered grief from his father's death decades ago and now writes poetry. May, 52, left a toxic friendship after 20 years. I thought I was being loyal. I was actually self-abandoning. Now, I feel free. The 7-Day Emotional Alchemy Challenge. Day 1. Name your 3 core emotions from the week. Day 2. Call someone and express honest appreciation. Day 3. Write about a wound you've never voiced. Day 4. Walk in silence. Ask your heart a question. Day 5. Forgive someone, even if just in writing. Day 6. Journal what identity you're shedding. Day 7. Write a vision letter to your future self. This is your inner transformation. Because at this stage, the greatest upgrade isn't external, it's emotional. And when you alchemize emotion into wisdom, you don't just age well, you evolve. The social shift, tribe, influence, and building a legacy that lasts. What if the most important investment you can make after 50 has nothing to do with money, but with the people you surround yourself with? They say you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. But after 50, that statement becomes more than advice. It becomes a blueprint for your legacy. This is the social shift, a conscious, intentional redesign of your tribe, your influence, and how you imprint your values on the world. Because the most fulfilled people in their second half of life are not the wealthiest. They're the most connected. Grief, change, and emotional cycles. After 50, you may grieve the passing of time, lost opportunities, children leaving home, parents aging or gone, health shifts. Grief isn't a sign of weakness. It's the evidence that you've loved, lived, and are still awake. Let yourself feel. Sadness without rushing to fix, anger without shame, longing without judgment. And then remember, grief is a portal, not a prison. Reinventing your identity. Who are you without the titles, roles, or achievements? At 50 plus, you're not starting over. You're distilling, letting go of who you thought you had to be so you can become who you really are. Identity questions to explore. What do I truly value now? What dreams still whisper in my heart? Who am I when I'm alone and honest? This is the rebirth, not into someone new, but someone true. Emotional fitness tools. Daily emotional hygiene. 10 minutes of silence or reflection. Write one truth you're avoiding. Move your body with intention. Speak one kind sentence to yourself. Replace comparison with curiosity. Monthly reset rituals. Reflect on the biggest emotional lesson of the month. Release resentment. Write to burn letters if needed. Practice deep listening with a loved one. Real people, real transformation. Carlos, 59, began therapy for the first time after retiring. He uncovered grief from his father's death decades ago, and now writes poetry. May, 52, left a toxic friendship after 20 years. I thought I was being loyal. I was actually self-abandoning. Now I feel free. The 7-Day Emotional Alchemy Challenge. Day 1. Name your 3 core emotions from the week. Day 2. Call someone and express honest appreciation. Day 3. Write about a wound you've never voiced. Day 4. Walk in silence. Ask your heart a question. Day 5. Forgive someone, even if just in writing. Day 6. Journal what identity you're shedding. Day 7. Write a vision letter to your future self. This is your inner transformation. Because at this stage, the greatest upgrade isn't external, it's emotional. And when you alchemize emotion into wisdom, you don't just age well, you evolve. The social shift, tribe, influence, and building a legacy that lasts. What if the most important investment you can make after 50 has nothing to do with money, but with the people you surround yourself with? They say you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. But after 50, that statement becomes more than advice. It becomes a blueprint for your legacy. This is why community is the new currency. We live in a hyper-connected world, yet loneliness is skyrocketing, especially for adults over 50. Research shows loneliness increases risk of early death as much as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Social isolation raises risk of dementia by 50%. Strong relationships improve immunity, brain health, and emotional resilience. Translation: your tribe literally keeps you alive. Ask yourself, who lifts you up, challenges you, or brings you peace? Who drains you, distracts you, or reflects an outdated version of you? The power of a chosen family. At this stage, you're no longer obligated to stay in circles out of habit. Now is the time to curate, not coast. Your new tribe should include the challenger pushes you to grow, the nurturer provides emotional safety, the mirror reflects your truth, the student, someone you mentor, the elder, someone who's walked the path. These roles may shift. One person can fill several. What matters is intention. Influence redefined, from ego to impact. Influence is no longer about status or followers. It's about ripple. Redefine influence as: who feels safer, stronger, or wiser because of you? What values are you modeling in daily life? What stories are you passing down? What wrongs are you helping make right? Even a single conversation can be an act of legacy. Digital minimalism, real connection. Tech is a tool, not a substitute. At this stage, connection must go beyond comment threads. Practical shifts. Replace 30 minutes of scrolling with one coffee meetup/week. Start a small circle or supper club, no phones. Use voice messages instead of text to deepen tone. Take one social media Sabbath each week. It's not about unplugging completely, it's about plugging back into what matters. Mentorship, legacy, and being useful. You carry wisdom that someone younger needs, and you may need the vitality someone younger brings. Mentorship is legacy. Share your story, not just your highlight reel. Help someone avoid the mistakes you made. Guide, but don't control. Learn from the exchange, not just teach. Bonus: reverse mentorship. Let a Gen Z or millennial teach you something. Let yourself be the student again. The art of letting go, releasing toxic social ties. This isn't about burning bridges, it's about opening gates. Signs it's time to move on. Conversations feel draining, not nourishing. You shrink or censor your truth. The relationship is built on obligation, not connection. Letting go creates space for better alignment, deeper resonance, truer belonging. Real stories, real legacy. Harold, 66, began hosting weekly dinners for 3 generations of his family. It's become my favorite hour of the week. I'm not just leaving money behind. I'm passing on laughter, history, and love. Janelle, 53, started mentoring the weekly legacy ritual. Each week, ask yourself, who did I connect with deeply? Who did I help, encourage, or uplift? What wisdom did I pass on? What stories did I share? What distractions did I cut to make space for presence? Then answer, what kind of ancestor am I becoming? The wealth redefined. Time, money, and freedom in the second half of life. What if wealth after 50 isn't about how much you've saved, but how deeply you live? For decades, wealth has been defined by numbers: net worth, retirement accounts, real estate. But what if the second half of life calls for a different equation? One where freedom and fulfillment matter more than figures. This is the wealth redefined. It's not anti-money, it's pro-alignment, shifting from accumulation to liberation, from fear-based security to value-based prosperity. Because after 50, the real question is no longer, how much do I have? But, what is enough for the life I actually want? The 3 dimensions of true wealth. Real wealth after 50 expands beyond financial assets. Time freedom. Can you control your schedule? Can you say no? Energy reserves. Do you have vitality for what matters? Values alignment. Does how you earn, spend, reflect what you believe? Ask yourself, what am I still chasing and why? What would enough feel like? The money reframe, from scarcity to strategy. After 50, your relationship with money shifts from growth mode to optimization mode. Key shifts. Save less out of fear. Spend more with purpose. Focus on cash flow, not just assets. Use money as a tool for time, health, and connection. Budget joy. Schedule experiences, not just expenses. Practice. Create a freedom budget. Include leisure, learning, legacy. Review subscriptions and cut digital clutter. Reassess insurances, estate plans, and will. Looking after 50. Reinvention, not retirement. Retirement isn't about quitting, it's about realigning. New work models, part-time, purpose-driven roles, consulting, coaching, mentoring, creative entrepreneurship, community-based leadership. The question isn't, what do I do, but what do I want to contribute now, and on what terms? Time as your greatest currency. You can always earn more money. You can never earn more time. Reclaiming time. Design your ideal week with white space. Automate what drains you. Say no more often without apology. Prioritize experience over efficiency. Time wealth means being rich in mornings, moments, meaning. The experience dividend. What you remember at 80 won't be your stock returns. It'll be your stories. Invest in, travel with people you... Wealth without regret. Avoiding the 2 extremes. Trap 1, hoarding for a future that never arrives. Result, missed life, unshared joys, regret. Trap 2, overspending in a panic of purpose. Result, debt, anxiety, shallow pleasure. The middle path. Spend boldly where it matters. Simplify ruthlessly elsewhere. Design a life that feels good now and later. Legacy planning that feeds the living. Don't just leave money, transfer meaning. Modern legacy tools. Ethical wills. Write your values, stories, hopes. Donor-advised funds or causes you champion. Grandchild education accounts. Family traditions you formalize and pass on. Your legacy is not the balance in the bank. It's the blueprint for becoming. Real people. Redefined wealth. Thomas, 61. Downsized to a smaller home and used the savings to travel with his wife every 3 months. I feel richer with fewer rooms and more sunsets. Layla, 58, left corporate life to become a part-time nature guide. My paycheck shrank, but my life expanded. I'm finally wealthy in peace. The Wealth Alignment Check-In. Each month, reflect. Is how I spend aligned with my values? What's draining my time and money? Where can I trade dollars for joy or space? What's my next freedom move? This is wealth, redefined. No more chasing more. No more mistaking money for meaning. Because after 50, wealth is not just about what you've built, it's about what you're now free to do. The final integration, designing your third act, with power, joy, and peace. What if everything you've lived through, every success, setback, scar, and story, was preparing you for your most meaningful chapter yet? Welcome to your third act. Not a winding down, not a fading away, but a conscious design of life's richest season, where clarity replaces chaos, where peace partners with purpose, and where wholeness becomes your daily compass. This isn't retirement. This is reintegration. a coming home to the truest version of yourself. The three forces of the third act: power, joy, peace. These are the pillars of your final, most refined chapter. Power, not control, but sovereignty. The ability to choose with clarity and confidence. Joy, not the fleeting high, but deep delight in simple, present-moment living. Peace, not passivity, but inner steadiness rooted in acceptance, meaning, and maturity. Together, they form the architecture of lasting fulfillment. The integration map, aligning all 9 parts. This entire series has walked you through awakening your vitality, eating for longevity, movement as medicine, weekly wellness blueprint, sleep and recovery, brain power and mindset, emotional transformation, social connection, and legacy, redefining wealth. Now it's time to synthesize it. Integration quest, designing your ideal week, the lifestyle blueprint. Not a rigid schedule, but a living rhythm. Break your week into categories: energy, movement, recovery, nourishment, connection, family, tribe, mentoring, purpose, contribution, creativity, spiritual growth, pleasure, joy, rest, play, beauty. Use 1 to 2 hour blocks. Prioritize your mornings. Leave space for spontaneity. Track not just productivity, but presence. The peace practices. Your nervous system is your anchor. Daily tools, breathwork, 4-7-8 or box breathing. Nature immersion, minimum 15 minutes. Stillness rituals, morning reflection, evening wind down. Digital detox zones in your home. Peace is not the absence of noise, it's the skill of stillness. Joy as strategy, not accident. Joy is the fuel of longevity, yet many wait for it. Build joy into your week. Learn something new, language, instrument, idea. Create, paint, cook, write, dance. Laugh daily. Seek humor, not just information. Travel locally or globally with intention. Make joy a decision, not a reward. Power through purpose. Purpose isn't one big mission. It's how you live, love, and lead today. Ask, where do I feel useful? Who do I help by being me? What breaks my heart? And how can I respond? Purpose is not pressure. It's permission to care, to give, to evolve. The 90-day third act reset. Every 90 days, revisit your alignment. Reaffirm your top 3 values. Reset, 1 habit per area: body, mind, soul, relationships, money. Release, 1 obligation, object, or story you've outgrown. Reimagine, 1 bold new experience to pursue. This rhythm keeps your third act alive, not on autopilot. Real people, real integration. Nora, 60, wrote a vision letter to her 80-year-old self and began living it now. It's not a bucket list, it's a blueprint. David, 68, made his home a sanctuary. Morning walks, midday writing, evenings with jazz. I don't chase peace anymore, I live it. The final compass, the 5 whispers. At the end of each week, ask, did I honor my body? Did I feel wonder or joy? Did I speak and live my truth? Did I deepen connection? Did I move closer to the life I want? If even 3 of 5 are yes, you're already winning. This is your third act. You are not too late. You are not too old. You are not done. You are finally, fully you. The world doesn't need more youth. It needs your depth. It needs your wisdom. It needs your courage to live awake. Let the final chapter be your finest. And let your life speak so loudly. Others awaken just by witnessing it.